corner of this computer. Great. So I think we have a few people who came. That's great. So let's see. How are folks doing right now? I guess something that I like to do in my class is do a 2-word check-in with my undergrad students. So maybe we could type in a couple words in the chat to describing how we're feeling right now after these long few weeks. All right, someone's hungry, lunchtime. Browns won. Of course, something sports related that I have no reference point to. Busy, tired. Yeah. Trying to stay focused. Good for now, but have a busy weekend ahead. Yeah. I mean, no, I hear that. That's I don't know. Scott and I were just talking about how politics is the only thing in our minds lately these past couple weeks, because something obviously has to blow up every Friday. So I don't know. I think we should probably take the advice of I don't know, university admin to take care of ourselves this Friday or something like that. Because today's Mental Health Awareness Day. But you know.
I'm honestly still recovering from learning that Python uses 0 indexing. I did the data camp. I don't know if I can do it, y'all.
Yeah, it's
and the exclusive on the when you index something, the second element you index is yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be an adjustment.
Devin, did you pay for the data camp? Because I was only able to do 2 sessions.
I think well, I have I'm giving data camp to my students, so I possibly have access through that. But I only did, I don't know what you mean by 2 units. I did the intro to Python.
Yeah, I was only able to get through 2 of the lessons in that. I pay $300, and I was like, I can't do that.
Oh no!
Oh my god. Yeah, I have to
learn on my own.
Okay, I have to check up on pricing later because I think they have a thing in which you do pay money to access the rest of everything. But I felt like that was a good resource to kind of just get into it, and then you could search up a lot of other resources online. But I don't know, did folks feel like the resources they got from my email were useful overall?
Yeah, the tutorial website you sent out looks really useful with the syntax and stuff.
Yeah.
For future reference, you can say that you're an instructor and get access to data camp. I don't know if this, I mean, you can say it and you also have to prove it. But yeah, maybe that's something Scott could help to set up somehow. Cause I think you have to be actually a faculty kind of on record. But it's worth a shot because then you have access to everything in data camp.
You mean if I were to say I'm a faculty, I could get access for just me or for the entire group?
You could get access for a specific course and then invite however many people. I don't know if it's unlimited, but it's I invited 20 people, my students, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'll look into it. I'll see if maybe we can get that set up for this group here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be useful.
When Todd and I took a computational course at Duke, the instructor there got access for the class as a whole. And I think it was free for him. I don't think he paid anything for it. He was just yeah, we're teaching this class. And they just gave everybody in the course access to it.
I might not be able to do it this semester, but next semester, this workshop's going to be on the books as a 1-credit course. And so at that point, I'll probably be able to do it.
That's good. Thanks for bringing it up. Devin, or is it Devin, right? Okay. Thanks, Devin. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the housekeeping stuff. But yeah, let's get into sort of the lesson. So I think we'll help you all out many weeks ago to get Selenium and Panaconda installed. And so this today we're going to be kind of learning about the basics of interacting with web pages. Just kind of the first half of this will focus on like specific terms and how to work with how to like understand a web page and how to understand a web page. And the second part of this lecture will kind of focus more on like opening up Python and working with Selenium directly. So we'll be working with code later on down the line. But so let me get started with sharing my screen. And definitely always feel free to chime in if you have any questions. So I'm just gonna, oh. Okay. So I'm going to use this page as an example, as a reference point I'm going to share in the chat, but I'm going to use this page as a reference point for us to kind of begin understanding web pages. So, okay, there's a lot here, but to begin, I think one of the things to know about web pages is that they're built to display information, and what you see here, everything that you see on any sort of web page has code associated with it to like display all the information. And in order to and our goal as like web scrapers is to be able to extract with whatever's on your page and extract and figure out what's going on behind the scenes in order for us to eventually locate specific snippets of data and extract it in Selenium. And so there's a couple of tools that every browser has, like I'm using Firefox, but you could use Chrome or Safari or any sort of browser that allows you to basically locate the back-end code of the page. And I'll give you, the first thing I want to show you is something known as a developer console, which is a set of tools that every browser has that allows you to locate elements locate like the back end elements in your browser. It's typically used like test applications and test websites, but we're going to use it to be able to like see what's going on behind the scenes. And I know for Firefox, to access this developer console, we have to click Settings, Web Developer, and Inspector. I think it's you also can click Control-Shift-I in Control-Shift-I in Windows, or for Macs, I think for any web browser, you could click Option Control-C. And this inspector, and so there's a lot of stuff here that you see at once, but I would say focus mostly on this inspector tab right here, or like a similar tab that you would see on other browsers as well. And you could search through the markup text that each website has. And that's called the Hypertext Markup Language, HTML code. There are also other types of codes as well, like JavaScript and CSS, cascading style sheets. But I think for most websites, you'll be working with like HTML code basically. And a lot of HTML code is basically a set of instructions for each website that displays what is on the website itself. So Okay, for Macs, it is Command Option C. Thanks, Grace. And so if you as you see here, I'm like scrolling down through the document, the HTML document behind the scenes. And as I scroll down, you could see that the developer console is highlighting specific parts of the text, specific parts of the website itself. And this is where like we'll be able to locate specific locate specific parts of the text that we actually want to web scrape themselves. The other tool I'm going to show you is, let me just close this. If you right click on any browser, you could also view the page source. Which basically lists all the backend code to design that the backend code that displays whatever is on the website itself. And I would not, so a lot of this, I personally don't know HTML that well, but I would say you don't really need to know the intricacies of HTML code, but it would be useful to know about some conventions. For instance, let's look at this article, the union meeting in Bryan Hall. So I should be able to, Control F, union meeting in Bryan Hall. And if you see here, HTML code is composed of a lot of tags, and within these tags, it contains basically the information that we want to extract as web scrapers. And for instance, in this specific title of this article, the union meeting in Bryan Hall, is in between the tags known as the tags that are called A. I think they're called tags. Sometimes they're called IDs. I get them mixed up all the time. But all I know is a lot of the data are located between a couple of tags like this. And the page source itself just is a compilation of everything on the web page, on every single web page. So if you scroll down, you'll eventually see everything that's on the web page in of itself in the page source. And our goal is going to be to basically be able to basically come up with ways to locate the snippets of data that we're searching for, and extract using Selenium and using locators, and using these locators to in Selenium to get the text that we need and to get the data that we want from every web page. So I'm going to go back to the inspector view again. So I do want to ask if are folks able to open up the inspector console right now? Like, are you able to go to this web page and then open up your inspector console?
Would it be called something different in Chrome? I see elements, console, sources, network.
Yeah, I think it could be. I don't know what it's called in Chrome. I haven't taken a look.
So I just did it in Chrome, and if you do right click, you can go down to inspect, and it'll pull it up as a tab on the screen.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
looking after you inspect? What are you looking at?
Yeah, for Chrome, it's on the right side. I mean, it's under the tab elements. I think every
Got it. Okay.
every browser has it differently, but every browser has like a different interface, but ultimately they all basically do the same thing.
Okay.
You're able to identify like the elements on the web page itself. And I think over here you're able, like, so another thing about HTML is that there's a general hierarchy in terms of its structure. So usually we would have specific elements within elements, and by elements I mean let's see. And by elements, I mean specific text files that are written to display information on a web page. They're usually separated by tags. For instance, you know, this would be an element, what I'm highlighting here, sort of whatever's in between the A tag, which includes the href and the Polytechnical School, the text itself. So this would be like one element. Another element would probably be like this division, whatever's in between this division tag, or whatever's in between this I tag. And you know what, and you could locate elements based on I think the tag name itself, which could be I or div or h3 or div or whatever. And you know when an element begins when there's a tag like this. I think that's a left or right angle a character in between a left and right angle bracket, and like the end bracket, which has a backslash, and the character itself. That makes sense. And so there's a lot of different ways to be able to select different elements, and that's what we'll be eventually doing in Selenium. So one way that I found pretty useful is being able to select elements using. We're going to be selecting elements using the console itself, and one way to do this is by searching up the element here. Let's, for example, in your search bar, union meeting in Bryan Hall. As you can see here, it's right here. Alternatively, you could select your element if you just right-click any part of the code, any part of the website itself, and just click inspect element or select element. Let's see here. And so for instance, yeah.
I have a question. So where would the search bar be on the Chrome if anyone has found it?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. But I think
you can just use the Control F, or if you're on a Mac, Command F, and it should be searchable within the Chrome tab.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, like Control F. There we go. Thank you very much, Scott and Jay. So right now, as we scroll through, the developer console highlights whatever is selected in our developer console right here. So one of the things we could do actually is to, let's see. Yeah, one of the things we could do is right click whatever's being highlighted. In this case, I'm going to right click this element right here, or this like text right here, inspect it. And then on the developer console itself, I could right click. And there's a bunch of options here. I think it's similar to, it might be a little bit different from Chrome, but you could select the inner HTML, outer HTML, CSS selector, CSS path, XPath. Ultimately, there in Selenium, there's going to be a lot of different ways to select specific elements on a web page, but we're going to be focusing on one specific way called CSS selector. And a CSS, so CSS stands for, like, I think, cascading style system. It's another sort of it's another type of, I think, language that's used in website development, but it's also it's also used to be able to select parts of a web page in of itself. XPath is another way of selecting parts of a web page, but we'll focus on using a CSS selector right now. So, I right click, copy CSS selector, and then let's see if I could get. I'm gonna control paste my selector in the chat here. So I don't know if folks have copy and pasted their CSS selector. Why don't you all paste it up in the chat, and we'll see what everyone gets. That's an interesting one. Yeah. Yeah, I see you all are using Google Chrome. So I'm not quite sure why, but I think if you use Google Chrome, you kind of get a different one. And I see a lot of you are getting like a similar CSS selector right now. So I guess you want to be careful with trying to be very, trying to literally try and select. So to literally select what you want to select here. But so it looks like everyone's kind of converging on one specific CSS selector, and this selector literally. Oh, really? Huh? Elena.
Elena, are you in Chrome? Not Google Chrome. I think for me it shows up, it's just copy selector, but it's a CSS selector.
Yeah. So one of the things is, are you highlighting the whole element itself? Okay, there. It looks like you have a selector. So that's good. And so any sort of, basically the selector is one pathway that allows you to locate specific elements in the text. So every element in a web page here has its own CSS selector, and different CSS selectors will lead you to select different elements of the text itself. And so I'm going to throw at you another tool that'll make identifying CSS selectors a lot easier. I made you all go through this like really rough and annoying method with the developer console because sometimes you want to troubleshoot on your own. But a quick way. But there's a lot of let me see here. Trying to get my notes up. So there's a lot of tools actually that are developed that programmers have developed already on browsers that allow you to that make coming up with CSS selectors a lot easier and enables you to select multiple elements at once. So sometimes we want to select the titles of everything on one web page and not just like literally one title of a web page, one title of an article at once. So to do that, my CSS selector is grayed out when I try and copy the text. That might be because you're, so Jacob, I think that's because you're selecting the actual text rather than the elements.
Okay, yeah, when I tried to copy the element, I must have been copying the wrong element then because it was giving me a different answer. I think I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. Though.
So no problem. So I think in Chrome, there's an extension called Selector Gadget. And in other, I use Firefox, so in other add-ons, there's like Scrape Make Beta. And a lot of these are like scraping assistant tools that will make selecting CSS selectors a lot easier. So why don't we all right now try and download your extension. And I'll give you, I should give you this link. I'll give the links in the chat. That is Selector Gadget. And if you're using Firefox, that is ScrapeMate. And these are just a couple of applications that you could use. I think there are a lot more of them out there, but these are just the ones that I came up with in my Googling. So has everyone downloaded their applications? Or I guess like type in the chat if you completed it. Okay, Devin had it installed already. I got it. Installed it. Right. It looks like everyone's having no trouble installing it, which is great. So I'm just going to move Chrome here. Oh, okay, great. I'm just going to move Chrome here because it sounds like a lot of you are using Chrome. But so with the selector gadget, what you do is you click the, you click the application right here, or I think, I forgot how to bring it up, but let me know if it's not there and we'll help you out, but I'm going to assume it's here. Once you click this, you'll notice at the bottom of the screen, this sort of little bar pops up. I mean, you could toggle the position of this bar, but it does, this pops up, but it also pops up a lot of, it also opens up the application itself that allows you to select any part of your web page. So I'm going to select this title right here. So what just happened is the application told me what the CSS selector is for me to collect this element right here, and that is A. So whatever is green is what you individually selected, and what is what you've individually selected. Whatever's in yellow is what this CSS selector is also capturing. So what it looks like here is that it's capturing foreign language press survey, it's capturing this bar right here, it's capturing everything on the left. I'm just gonna open this up, which shows the full text. But and it's also selecting within the text itself these sort of elements over here. And this is these are things that, so what we're getting at are elements that we want, but also elements that we don't want. Like we want the titles of all these web pages, of these articles, but we don't want, everything that's here, or we don't want this title page. So what you do is just click, you click the areas, you click the elements that you don't want, like which turn red. So what this tells the application is you don't want that. And it adjusts the CSS selector accordingly. So you're gonna have to like scroll through the web page generally just to like see there's nothing else that's in yellow that you don't want. For instance, I don't want this, so I'm just gonna select this. Oh well. I have to do that again. Oh. I want this, I don't want this, and I don't want this. All right, so it's given me a CSS selector right here that ultimately allows me to select everything, select all the elements of all the article titles over here. And I don't know. Are folks getting this CSS selector right now, H3A?
Could you walk through it one more time?
Yeah, I could do that. So I'm gonna repeat this. So I'm gonna select what I want. So I want all the titles of the articles on this page. So I'm just gonna select this. But then there's a lot of stuff that I don't want. So I'm gonna select, honestly, you could just click anything, any one of these yellow bars, and it'll automatically change the CSS selector depending on what you want and what you don't want. So I don't want all of that. I also don't want whatever is in the primary listing here. And there we go. I end up with a CSS selector. I look through everything on my web page, and it looks like I'm selecting whatever I want. I'm not selecting anything else. So does that cover it?
So is what's happening that all the stuff in green and yellow is being captured by this, and
Yes.
then everything else that's either not highlighted or is in red is being excluded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry if I was not clear. Yeah, everything in yellow right now. Let me just close this. Yeah.
For some reason, I can't get just the title, but this is maybe not that important, so we don't have to
Okay.
dwell on it. But
Yeah, it might be just the intricacy of the website because you have to like, you have to lower this to like deselect some of these over here. But hopefully that kind of gives you one tool that allows you to like locate CSS selectors a lot easily on like any sort of web page. All right. So does anyone have any questions in regards to like what we just went over with like with the developer console, elements, and CSS selectors? Okay, great. I'm assuming that's good. So we're going to move on to the second part of this this workshop, and we'll actually be working with we'll actually be opening up Python this time. So I know last couple weeks ago we all downloaded Anaconda. So why don't we open that up right now and open up your IDE or integrated development development environment. I specifically use Spider, as we see here. But I'm gonna wait until everyone opens up their own IDE right now. And you know, with Anaconda, in order to open up Spider, you go to your Anaconda page and click launch or install right here. Let me know when you're done in the chat of opening up your whatever ID you have open. Okay. Done. Great. Okay, that's great. It looks like most people are done, and that's very straightforward. So, oh, can you make your screen a little bigger? Do you mean the text I have here? Let's see. Yeah, okay. It's been a while since I've done that, but I think you have to click preferences and then open up the appearance. There we go. Does that help? Okay, great. So I posted up on GitHub. Just share that in the chat, actually. The code that I'm using right here, but I'm gonna spend some time letting you write down the code. I'm gonna spend some time letting you write down the code here. But well, first of all, ignore whatever's on top here. I'm only doing this because I didn't install Selenium correctly. If you installed Selenium through Anaconda, you shouldn't have to specify your working directory, which is what I'm doing here. You should be able to just type in the code from Selenium import WebDriver, open up your WebDriver, and go to Google. So right now, we're going to open up your first WebDriver browser and go to this specific link right here. So I'm just going to run this code right now. Run this. I'm going to run the driver. It's right here. So that means the driver is opened up on this page. I think we're all using a Chrome driver, so it's going to open up a Chrome. And I'm going to run this code, which is basically, it opens up a driver, and it opens up the driver using this, using the WebDriver.chrome command function. And then I use another function to, or I think this is a method. I have not used object-oriented programming in a while, but I use this. I think I use this method to go to this website, and this could be any sort of website, but specifically Chrome is open now, and what we've done here is basically just told Selenium to open up web browser, and this functions like any sort of any different web browser. Like I could create a tab. I could go to YouTube. Oh, I got the error, no such file in directly Chrome driver. Did anyone else get that problem? Okay. Got it. Okay. Did anyone not get that problem? Yeah.
Can you show the code again?
Yeah, I could show the code. So I think what's happening here is that what's happening here is that this IDE, in this case Spider, isn't able to locate a Chrome driver. And I think there's a solution to this through Anaconda, but I would say the solution I use is, I'm gonna try and find. Is to set a working directory and set a working directory, which is this code right here, and to download a Chrome driver application into a folder right here. So I'm wondering if Will, since you downloaded the, are you having the same trouble as well?
No, but I also have it set up slightly differently.
Mhm.
But if you're having this issue, what you're going to want to do is go to this website. And this website here, let me put it in the chat real quick, is going to have links to all of the Chrome driver versions. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to see what version of Chrome you have. And you're going to want to match the Chrome driver version that you download to the Chrome installation that you have. Easiest way to do this is just update your Chrome to whatever the most recent one is and download the most recent Chrome driver that fits that. But to figure out what type of Chrome you have, you are going to want to just did this. So let me figure this out again. Excuse me. So what you're going to want to do is go to the options in the top right corner of your Chrome browser. And then you're going to want to click on the options and then go down to help. And then select About Google Chrome. Underneath Google Chrome, you'll see the Google Chrome is up-to-date version 86.0 point blah, blah, blah. Official build, whatever. But the most important thing that you want to see is that first number, that 86. So what you want to do is then go to the Chrome driver website that I linked and go to the latest stable release and download that. You can download that for whatever operating system you have. If you have Linux, God bless, use that. I have no idea how that works. You can get the Mac one, you can get the Windows one. And then you download that and you put it in the particular directory that you need. Personally, I have it in my Windows folder because I'm lazy. And if you put it in your Windows folder, it should be able to just find that. That's also probably not the best way to do it, but I'm lazy, so that's what I did. I'm not entirely sure where it's supposed to go in Macs. I figured that out, but I sort of forgot. I think the easiest way is to do what Todd did. To put it in a particular location, just set those options in your Python.
Yeah, so this is going to look different. So the reason everyone's getting that error is because you're telling Selenium to open up a Google Chrome driver, but it can't find where the Google Chrome driver is. Hence, like, you have the pathing issue. And so my solution is probably not the most ideal, but what I've done is I literally just, you download your Chrome driver and you move the Chrome driver to the same working directory as your, to any sort of working directory. In this case, I have a folder. Too many things open. But I have a folder where I have my Chrome directory, Chrome driver already here, and all of my Python script files over here. So this might be, some of you might already have something like this, but if you already have your Python files saved somewhere, I recommend downloading Chrome driver and moving that Chrome driver to wherever all your Python files are located. And then you could select, and then you have to specify that working directory. In my case, this is what it looks like. And you could, by running this code up here. So I could give you, so I mean, we're nearing the end of this workshop. I mean, there's not much for me to go into afterwards, but we could spend a couple minutes just giving you all time to set that up if you. So is everyone kind of clear about what's going on and what you can do to address this issue? And who doesn't have this issue whatsoever as well? I'm just curious.
All right, who is still having problems getting getting Selenium to open up a browser? Okay.
I'm still
Sure.
getting an error.
We can walk through this then. Let me.
Do you want me to share? Let you share a screen?
Sure. I think we can sort of just work through this. I can also show you how I do it. Let me find my Windows folder. You open Windows folder again. It's intentionally difficult for you to actually access the Windows folder because you're not supposed to do that much in it. So the way that this works for Windows is that there is a folder within the operating system called Windows, where if you put something in there, the computer almost automatically checks when you try and run a command. It almost automatically checks that specific location. So a way to get around this issue for Selenium is you can just put the Chrome driver in that specific location, and then it just automatically checks there. You're not really supposed to mess with that directory very much, because if you delete something by accident, you can completely break your computer. But like I said, I was a little lazy, so I just put it there. There are other more complicated ways of doing this, but it's also, at least for me, was pretty quick and easy, and it worked. So that's why I went with it.
Yeah.
So if you don't know much about Windows, I just do want to warn you, don't delete anything in that folder. Definitely don't delete anything in your Windows folder. So
looks like the problem is that
it just can't find it.
It just can't find. So for those who are getting the WebDriver exception, Chrome driver executable needs a path. It's because Selenium doesn't, because you haven't specified where the Chrome driver is. And the way to do, and I guess one way to do that is you could literally set the working directory on your IDE. In my case, I set the path. Move the driver into the directory.
Yeah, I did that and it still isn't working. Like I set the path to my directory and the Chrome driver thing is in there. And it's still getting that error.
So here is how you would do it with the Windows directory. If you go to your local directory C, you should be able to just see a Windows folder. There is the possibility that it is hidden, in which case you will need to go to your folder options and show hidden folders.
I'm on Mac.
Oh, okay. Then that is something different. Let's look this up. So one thing that you start to very quickly learn with Selenium and these sorts of questions generally is that people have always run into these problems before. So if you Google it and it sounds like you have some R experience, Stack Exchange, enormous for Selenium and Python generally. So we can just look and see Selenium Mac Chrome driver location. Okay. Stack Overflow.
Will, do you want to share your screen?
Sure, I can share my screen. Let me share the correct screen now. There we go. Okay, so we can go through it on Mac. You share screen 3. There we are. So the idea for Mac is similar for the idea for Windows, in that there's a path or a folder or a setting on your computer that tells Python to just look in this location for whatever you run. And the idea here is that you're going to add the Chrome driver program to that location. And you're going to tell Python, or Python will automatically just check there. So you need the Chrome driver executable. And here are some options. Wow. That actually looks like it's in Windows. Let's look for Mac. That's still Windows. That's weird. All right, let's check this website. Okay, this looks like a pretty decent one. So you need the Chrome driver program. Looks like you go to users/local. You go to that folder. Looks like you need to create the bin folder. Folder just named bin in user/local.
Could you send this link in the chat?
Sure.
Thanks.
Is the chat. I'm going to stop sharing real quick because I can't get, there we go. Looks like you just have to create this bin folder in user/local and then just put the Chrome driver in there. And according to this, it should work. We can also check Stack Overflow and see if the instructions are basically the same. That is a different question about using extensions. So according to Stack Overflow, that is the basic idea, is that you go to user, local, bin, and then you put it there.
Yeah, I would say like doing this is probably the hard part of opening up Selenium. And once you're able to open up, it gets a lot easier. So.
Is anybody on Windows having a problem?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so for Windows, what you're going to want to do is go to your local disk C folder, which is just the root folder of your computer. It looks like this. So you go to your PC, and then you go to local disk. When you go here, can you actually see the Windows folder? You should be able to see it just at the bottom here.
Mac, how do you get to user local?
You should be able to get to user local by, so at the top, go to Go, then go to Folder, and just type in user/local, and it should bring you there.
Should I remove the setting directory part then? Because
Yeah.
I've gotten rid of the error, but it's not pulling up the window.
Yeah, you should remove that, because what this is doing is it's putting it in the default where it is expecting to look just automatically. So you don't need to set it in the options of your Python code anymore.
Okay, do I need to restart Python in order for it to like clear that directory?
Yes, I would say do that.
Okay, so is there a way to do that within, like just to restart the session or something? A file restart?
Maybe I normally just close it.
Okay.
Jacob, were you able to find the Windows folder? Okay, so what you're going to want to do is just go and bring the Chrome driver file into Windows. So this is what it looks like for me. As you see, I have 3 different Chrome driver applications here because I like saving things. You just want it to be named Chrome driver, just plain old Chrome driver. I have these older ones here for a couple reasons with older code just to work with them. But again, do not delete anything in this folder. Like don't touch anything. You can very easily completely mess up your computer. One of the old tricks is people telling you to go to your Windows folder and delete system32, which will annihilate your computer. Don't delete anything in here. So Jacob, if you put the Chrome driver file in Windows, just restart Python and it should work.
So we're nearing the end of this session. I want to keep you all longer than needed. So I think this is a good point in which I think by next time we're going to meet is in 2 weeks. And by next time, I guess the homework would be to try and get your Chrome directory, try and get it so that you could run the code that I presented in Python, and set up your Chrome driver in the correct location according to your system. And there's a lot of resources online that you could look up when you Google online. That's basically what you will be doing if you were to program always. but we're also here as a resource to help you out. So if you need help setting your Chrome driver up and running the code, you could email me, you could email Will, and we could help you out individually.
And next time what we'll do is we'll make sure that everybody can get their Selenium up and running, and then we'll start to actually use the Selenium to access web pages, and through Selenium start just going around the internet and seeing what we can actually do with it. So we'll show you how to click links, how to interact with your web browser, and then most importantly, how to download different types of data. And it is a little tricky at the start, but the way that you do it in Selenium is really formulaic. So once you get that formula down, it's incredibly simple and intuitive to do. So what we're hoping to do next time is really drive through that formula, how Selenium works, and just how simple it actually is to start running once you get off the ground. It's these sort of first couple things of getting it running and learning the sort of basic stuff that are the really sort of sadly tricky parts.
Yeah.
Is anybody still having trouble getting it to open?
I am, but I have to run, so I can just
Okay.
get in touch with y'all to figure out what's going on. Thank you.
Absolutely.
No problem. All right. Have a good weekend, everyone. Take care of yourselves.